Hey, I'm back. Thank you guys for watching this video. It's been, about a year and a half since I posted the last video about me passing the MLO exam and becoming a licensed mortgage loan originator in the state of Florida. Let's see, we are now, in January 2023. So I have been licensed for 20 months. Let's talk about it. Last I left you, I was very excited about passing the exam on the first try. I was bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and excited to get into the industry and start closing loans and making money. I'll take you through my journey a little bit and I'll tell you what I have going on here today. Again, I'm filming this January of 2023. So that puts me at about 20 months out from when I was originally licensed, a little bit under 2 years, obviously. So in July of 2021, I did receive a job offer to work with a major insurance and mortgage company. I was working in their department where they actually provide leads. So they buy online leads from like LendingTree and reach out to customers and try to solicit business from them as those customers have requested some information about purchasing a home, interest rates, or information on down payment online. The company buys the leads. So I worked for this company. The title that they gave me was a fancy title just to say that I worked in a call center because they were calling me a junior loan officer, but I wasn't doing anything that you could really consider to be a loan officer. The most you'd say is that I would actually get the person on the phone and ask them, what was their motivation for wanting to request information about refinancing their home. Beyond that, if I could get them interested enough, I would transfer them over to the senior loan officer who would actually take the application and try to originate the actual loan. The junior loan officer, if they were able to successfully transfer something over to the senior loan officer, would get a piece of the commission at the end if the loan closed. So I did that for about a month. I wasn't happy about it because I came into this field with some transferable skills from my last career. I worked in insurance. I worked in claims. So I had a lot of experience of talking to people on the phone, gathering sensitive information, collecting and storing that sensitive information, investigating and reviewing for information and searching for information online. So I had a lot of the skill set that I would say maybe a loan officer or a loan officer's assistant may need. So I was excited to jump head in and start doing some of that work. Even if I couldn't originate a loan, I wanted to be useful. I didn't want to just dial on the phone, hope to get somebody on the phone, and hope that they would talk to me for 5 minutes before I transferred them over, just for me to start that cycle again. So I did that for a month. And I decided that I wasn't happy there. Do I think it was worth being there and taking the calls and going through all of that? Yes, I absolutely believe that it was so worth it. I built a muscle. I built a bit of tenacity, if you will, to just constantly be on the phone, constantly be dialing, listening to rejection, listening to sometimes people being rude with you. I built a muscle that I needed to build. Everybody needs to build that muscle if you're going to be a mortgage loan officer, because you're going to be in sales and you're going to get rejected and you're going to have to know how to deal with that. So that was my first job. I was there for a month again. I wasn't happy about it because I wanted to be doing a little bit more hands-on work. So I left that job to go and work for a broker. So at this point, working for a broker, the broker is not providing any leads. You have to self-source your leads. So I spent some time trying to figure out the best way that I could do things. I'm told that I have a very personal demeanor and a good personality and I'm outgoing. So I tried to use that to the best of my ability. I say it like this because I don't think I was doing, in hindsight, looking back, I don't think I was doing enough. I could have been out socializing more, networking more. I wasn't doing it as much as I should have been doing it. Nonetheless, I was working for a broker, so I was trying the best that I could to try to reach out to realtors, talk to them on the phone, get them in a lunch meeting, let them know about the different programs that I had working with the brokerage that I was working with. And that was a little bit of a struggle. It did teach me that nothing is going to be handed to you. You're going to have to work so hard to make things happen. And every single sale, every single customer that's put in front of you, you better shine, because that makes or break your deal. So working for that brokerage taught me, again, other things about myself in the business that I needed to know, that, you've got to be able to be willing to sacrifice a lot of your own personal needs and your social life, maybe your personal life. You're constantly putting together a schedule, trying to figure out how and who you're going to meet for the day, how you're going to put yourself out there, how can you market yourself. So many different things that need to be done, and you have to be self-motivated and a hustler to be in that specific role where you're working for a brokerage, where you're not receiving any leads, and where if you don't bring home a customer, you don't eat. So after a few months of doing that, I was essentially living off of scraps, living off of my savings. I realized that I needed something that was going to give me a salary, maybe a base salary, something small, while I figure out how to gain more clients. So I transitioned over, I'd say after about 7 or 8 months of being with the brokerage. I closed 2 loans under the brokerage, which, that was good. But, in 7 or 8 months, 2 loans, you're not making a lot of money, right? So there was a lot of struggling going on in this time frame. Anyways, I moved on to another company, major mortgage company. They provide leads. Again, they purchase these leads. The difference here was that I wasn't going to be a junior loan officer. I wasn't going to be just talking to someone on the phone and transferring them over to the person that would do the work. I would be the person doing the work. And I was very excited about this opportunity because I got to really get my hands in there and get dirty. I got to take applications. I got to talk to people. I got to ask really interesting questions that, as a naive person in the industry, you don't really know, you're not really thinking about. You can't really appreciate a specific financial situation until you're there in the middle of it. And this person wants a pre-approval letter. They're trying to meet with their realtor, and you are deep into it, and you're trying to figure out, how am I going to get this person approved when they've got 5 rental properties? I still need their tax returns. I still have to look at their K-1s for the businesses that they are part owners in. I was deep in there with this third job. I was enjoying it. I was learning a lot. I was getting a lot of training. So 7 months into that job, I actually was laid off, because in 2022, if you're a loan officer, or you're looking to be a loan officer and you're not watching the market, you're behind. You need to start watching the market. But in 2022, the Federal Reserve, commonly known as the Fed, and I'll probably use the term the Fed interchangeably with the Federal Reserve throughout this video, but the Federal Reserve decided that they were going to try to curb inflation by raising interest rates. And they did this multiple times throughout 2022. I don't even know the number. I'm going to have to go back and add it on the screen as I edit this video, but they raised the interest rates multiple times throughout the year of 2022 to try to curb inflation, slow down the demand, and see if we can just level out the economy. Because of this, it got harder and harder for me to sell loans and for me to get customers interested in purchasing a home with a 6%, 7%, 7.5% interest rate. And because of that, the company I was working for, and just about every other company in the industry, saw a decrease in home loans. Realtors were seeing a decrease in home purchases. People were still interested, but it was just a tougher time to actually get somebody under contract and to actually get them to the closing table towards the middle and the end of 2022. So my company laid me off 7 months in. And at that point, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was already worried because I had spent a year and a half trying to make being a mortgage loan officer work, trying to really figure out where I stand, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to be, because you can go through so many different avenues. You can decide to only want to work with low income, maybe first time home buyers, and really specialize in FHA loans. Or you could be that person that's really good with conventional Freddie Fannie products. You've got so many different options. And so I was still trying to figure out what kind of loan officer I was going to be. I was taking all of the different trainings that my company would allow. And I was really trying to get my footing in the door. And here I got laid off 7 months into my third position as a loan officer. So Considering where the market is here today, we're in January of 2023. I believe the Federal Reserve is going to still be looking at how they can continue to curb inflation. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen, but I anticipate that the rates will start to slowly, we're high now, but I believe that will slowly start to come down a bit. And I would say maybe by the end of this year, maybe we won't see rates still being hiked up. Possibly we'll see them steadying out and maybe even drop a little bit. That's what I anticipate to be happening. But I mean, we don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. But knowing and needing to know and keeping up with that information is important, because if I'm going to make a living off of selling homes, selling loans, it's going to be important that I know what the market is doing. And because I'm now in a state right now where I've been doing this for about a year and a half and I haven't made a lot of money, I've been living off of very little for the last year and a half. I've almost depleted out my savings account. I've applied for rental assistance. I've applied for food stamps. I've applied for discounted internet services. So I have been really going through it, right? In the Black community, we like to say you're getting it out the mud. And that's exactly what I have been doing for the last year and a half, is I've been getting it out the mud and trying to make this work. So where I stand here today is I have been applying for more mortgage loan origination jobs because I have so little experience and I do not have a lot of loans that I have closed. It's tougher for me to market myself. I can obviously market some of the skills that I have from my prior work experience. However, we are in a space where if a mortgage company is even hiring right now, they're going to want you to have some experience, or, some of them are going to train you, obviously, but they're definitely going to favor somebody that's got a few more loans under their belt than I do. That's not stopping me from applying to jobs, but I am in a position right now where I feel like I'm at a crossroads and I may need to actually not pursue mortgage loan origination full time and only pursue it part time while I work on a different job or a different career field full time. So that's where I currently am in my journey. For anybody that's watching this video, you're probably watching it just to get some tips, get something to take away from this. I guess what I would say as a takeaway here is that if you're looking to become a loan officer, if you are currently one and you're trying to get your foot in the door, it is an interesting market. It's a tough time to be in right now. I would say if you have friends, family members, a sphere of influence around you that, you can hone in on, speak to them. You've got anybody that's interested in maybe refinancing, trying to cash out, trying to pay off some debt, take some equity out of their home. Work with the people around you, see what you can do to try to gain a customer or a sale from the people that your friends, your family members. That will be helpful, because if you don't have that, you're going to struggle a little bit unless you go somewhere where they're going to provide you leads. And even if they do provide you leads, you are going to work your butt off for those leads because you won't be the only person calling those leads. So I would also say, you're going to have to be mentally prepared. This job is not for the weak. You're going to get a lot of rejection. You're going to get a lot of no's. You're going to get a lot of people who just don't even want to deal with you, or people who will deal with you today and then tomorrow they have moved on to Joe Schmo at the other insurance company. So you're going to have to work very hard to keep your mental health sharp, stay focused, keep your eye on the prize. You're going to have to really want to do this. If you're just motivated by money, you're probably not going to see money for a while, unless, again, you do have a huge sphere of influence around you and you just have a whole bunch of people or realtors that are willing to just give you business. But you're going to have to really work on a grind every single day if you want to do this job, especially in this market right now, because it's tougher to get sales right now. Once interest rates lower and, the market is booming again and everybody's interested again, you're going to be able to sell a house. That's not going to be an issue. You're going to be able to sell a loan. But right now in this market, you have to have a foolproof plan. You've got to be working hard. You've got to be in there 10 plus hours a day trying to figure out how you're going to market, how you're going to get to realtors, how are you going to gain more interest in customers, how are you going to get somebody to want to give you an application. Right now, the beginning of 2023, again, is when I'm taping this. It's a tough market. I don't want to give up on this because I actually enjoyed doing it. I've been trying for almost 2 years now, and I've been broke doing it, and I don't want to give it up. But I also know that I have to, I've got to sustain myself. So this video right now, I'll probably try to do another update within the next few months to let you guys know what's going on. But as of this video right now, I strongly believe that I will be putting mortgage loan origination on a back burner while I seek out other career opportunities. However, I don't want to give up my license, and I don't want to give up on the ability to help people obtain home ownership. So that's where I am in my journey. If you've got any questions, of course, please feel free to leave them below. I think in the last video, I answered just about every single person's comment that they made. And, I'll be more than happy to share resources with you all if you guys are really looking for that. I do wish you the best. Hopefully this video helps somebody else out there. Until next time, take care of yourselves.